947 Drive with Thando.
This is 947.
19 minutes after 4. It's something we've been running throughout November, our men's conference. Of course, November marks mental health or just health in general for men. And we thought we could hear it from a men's perspective. And I think the first week we had men and daddying, I think it was. Then we spoke men and money. And we thought, considering the fact that today, of course, was a national shutdown with Women for Change, we thought we'd talk about men in relation to women in its entirety. Joining us today, South African author, speaker, entrepreneur, social change leader. He first rose to national attention with his appearance on Married at First Sight South Africa, where he earned the affectionate nickname, the country's husband. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Bongani Luvalo is in the building. Hi, Bongani. Great to have you. The country's husband. You're going to take care of all of us.
I'll try. I don't know if I'm capable, but yeah.
What do you think it was about you that had you be so popular on Married at First Sight?
What made me popular? What would I say? Maybe how I reacted to situations. Probably my calmness.
Okay.
And probably willing to do something and my partner not, having it. Say,
yes.
He's not my spec, and still trying to show up with a smile and still show kindness.
So being a gentleman.
I think so.
Okay. Well, also joining us is the Johannesburg creative director at VML South Africa, leading high impact campaigns for clients such as Vaseline and Hollard. He's got a sharp eye for culturally resonant storytelling and digital innovation. More recently, he was, of course, the mastermind behind that viral Vaseline ad over Heritage Month. The one and only Tumi Mutlana is in the building. Hello, Tumi.
Hi.
Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
The
studios are nice.
Thank you. I think they worked very hard on them. Very pink. We love them as well.
Yeah.
We love them as well. But I think you are one person who has your pulse on what the nation is feeling. I mean, that Vaseline ad, firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the one where the gogo is tossing the baby. And that's how we grew up.
Exactly. And that crossed racial boundaries.
100%.
Everybody's grandmother, before you were just covered in Vaseline.
Yeah.
And now you're ready for school.
And I mean, just touching on what we're talking about today, women are in charge of taking care of us from a very young age. Our grandmothers with, their Vaseline, and that's their way of showing us love.
Right.
At what point then do you think the boy child sort of misses that, or what informs you to behave, or men, and I'm generalizing obviously, but if you look at the stats, they say something else, but to act in the opposite way in which you were raised, and to not show the same amount of love that was shown and given to you?
That's a great question. I think we must never ever underestimate the role of men in society, but more importantly, in the nuclear family. Because mothers nurture, but fathers bring order, fathers bring structure. Men in families bring order and structure. And I think that's where the split happens, is that we've got a lot of households that are led by matriarchs, and that's great. And they've, it's the hand that they were dealt, and they had to just roll with the punches, But a lot of men drop the ball in that regard. In that, especially the boy child you need that man in your life.
Definitely.
It doesn't have to be your biological father.
Yeah.
But you need a man.
It would be great if it's your biological father.
Right? It would be great if it is, right? And some of us are privileged to have had that. But you need that male figure that brings you back in line and says, hey, my boy, if you want to go down this path, you'll end up in jail. But I'm here to tell you that we're not going to allow that, at least not on my watch, So I think that's where the roads really split.
But if we talk about it like in a literal way, I'm just trying to, and of course it's a little bit unfair that I'm asking you guys to speak on behalf of all, the men, but maybe you can help us. On a literal sense, where does it come from? The disrespect, from your point of view anyway, where does disrespect come from for women in this country when nothing but love is poured unto? I think that's my question, and you can answer as well, Bongani.
Look, Thando, I don't think it's anything that has got to do particularly with a personalized hate from men to women. you know. And I think we miss this conversation when we're talking about women abuse and children abuse, rather than gender-based violence. Because when we say gender-based violence, we're talking about a men and a women who are violated. No,
that's true, but I think Bongani, the thing here is, and we need to be careful with that. The numbers speak for themselves. Of course, it's not a comparison, but today
I'm coming to the numbers.
Okay,
because actually, if you go through the report, subs in 2024, it has registered 25,000 murder cases.
That's right.
I'm not talking about hitting, robbery, killing people that died at the end of the day. 25,000 cases were registered. Out of that 26,000 actually. Out of that 25,000 is 5,500 and some odd numbers. I'm just going to round them off in my articulation. 5,500 that we are talking about today on Purple Day is women.
Yes.
923 of those murder cases are children. The difference could be about 18, if not 19,000. Those are men who died in the hands of men.
Women. Of other men.
Yes.
Other men.
Of
So
men.
Bongani and I had a chat just before, and we were talking about we have got a violence issue in this country that we are not addressing. That spills over into intimate relationships, that translates into GBV, the murder of women and children. Right?
I want to bring it back though.
Sure.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to bring it back to the relationships with men and women and how men see women, right? I had a conversation with a friend of mine. He was friends with someone else that I was seeing, and he said, the fact that that guy and I sort of ended, put a strain on his relationship with that man. And because of the things that I told him that played out in my relationship. And he said, that like really put a lot of strain on it because I didn't see him the same way. But before he was like, no, I can be friends with this man who treats me in a certain way, but that man treats me in a different way. And I said to him, you do realize that women are people too. So that person is not a good person because he treats men differently. Women are people too.
point.
And
So-
you hear that
100%.
often, right?
100%.
Where like people are shocked, like, who did what to you? He's such a gentleman.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, and it's because all of this is done behind closed doors. But I think it starts much earlier than that. Something like catcalling, right?
Yes.
Like, it's where do you guys learn that?
There are
Do you
many
see
things that have been
others?
normalized. Look, Ekasi, in township, you see a girl, you want to make on her, hey, Thando, you don't stand still. I grab your hand, I twist it. We normalized it. Say, for you to get attention, inflict a little bit of some pain. Nobody said, you can't do that.
Donna, you can't do that.
Sorry,
That's
come
wrong.
back.
Sure.
Come back and explain that to me again. You inflict pain on a woman.
twist-
No,
Yeah, you know where they
Twist their
twist
hand.
the arm.
Nina, they're in the locks.
township
Yeah,
thing.
sorry.
So
Tell
in the
me.
locks,
Tell
if
me.
you're walking as a girl in the street, your biggest fear is to pass a corner because guys would hang out
Chill
in
in
like
the
a
corner,
corner, right? So as a young girl, I'd, for example, be walking back home from school, and there's a road where Abotumi hang out every single afternoon. You know you're gonna find them there. They know you're gonna walk there, and like clockwork, when you walk by, Matandos, sure,
Yes.
Matandos, Thando doesn't stop. Then Dumi will grab Thando's arm.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And initially they'll laugh about it.
Yes.
There'll be
Yes.
5 guys on just one girl. They'll make fun of it. But it starts there.
There.
Right.
Right? Where
Starts
nobody's reprimanding
That's right.
anybody.
That's
where
right.
you guys must have seen, not you guys, but those guys
Yeah.
must have seen it from older guys as they were growing up. So it's almost like like
Socialization.
passed on, right?
Socialization.
The socialization starts at home, where when Bongane doesn't get what he wants, he throws his toys, and the mother says, "No, give Bongane what he wants." Ne? This is the Bongane who leaves home and goes and plays with other boys. Probably you've got a soccer ball. We are playing with your soccer ball. You don't make it into the team. You get upset, and you take the ball. You go home. So there are boys who grow up thinking that they are entitled to things.
Yeah, that's right.
And as they grow from there, they think they're entitled to women's behavior.
Yeah.
So whether it's at a workplace, whether it's with friends, amongst boys, there's that one when you don't agree, we must go and chill where, we must drive with your car, somebody else. They throw
He
their
throws
toys
a tantrum,
around. So it starts from at home, and even your dad is not there to actually even show you how to
That's
behave.
correct.
I
Guys,
always say to people,
I have to pause. Sorry,
Sure,
hold that thought, Bongane. You always say to people, we are in conversation with Bongane Luvalo and Dumi Mutrana. It's men in relation to women.
947 Drive with Thando.
This is 947.
Minutes after 4 o'clock, a special broadcast of the show today as we stand in solidarity with Women for Change to end GBV. As we do every single Friday, we've got our men's conference, and we decided this week's theme was going to be men in relation to women, because we like, what is the reason? Joining us is Tumi Mutlana, who's a creative director, as well as Bongani Luvalo, who is a prominent South African author, speaker, entrepreneur. You might know him from Married at First Sight, South Africa. I think just before we took a break, we were talking about just entitlement is how you guys basically bratty behavior, where it's like, if you can't get something, you're going to get it by force. You're going to take it by force. What I don't understand is, I mean, the analogy you gave, Bongani, was like a ball at a young age. If a kid doesn't have a ball, or if the other kids aren't, playing nice, you're going to take the ball and say, I'm going home.
In Zulu or Xhosa, they say, isiqhelo siyayisingqondo. I don't know in English, but a habit, it grows in you. Starts as a small act. You do it the second time, then you grow into it. Addiction. Just I can't find a easy, English translation of isiqhelo siyayisingqondo. But you get entitled to certain things. Your voice being the bigger one in the room. Your wishes being the ones that are always, answered other than somebody else's. So as in, when you don't get your way out, you then want to force people. So others might not beat you, but others might deny you finances. Others might deny you affection. Others might deny you because of it's you retaliating to what you are not getting. And I'm saying that it could build from that point as well, where at home you are this individual that is not told when they're doing wrong, who is not told that stop this nonsense. But also you do not have figures that when you look at, I think my point was, I always say to people, my worry is my daughter not knowing how I can treat a woman. Because she knows that my dad loves me, and this is how my dad's love looks like.
Yes, and this is what's
she
supposed.
has not seen how I would love a woman.
Can we rewind, right? And perhaps is it a case of men watching how their fathers loved their mothers or didn't love their mothers or weren't even present in their lives? Do you think, we can all agree that we have also an issue where most homes are fatherless homes.
Yes, absolutely.
And I don't think it's coincidental that, that stands together in that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I think I made the point earlier about the absence of positive and strong male figures in the family will spill over into society.
Sure.
Because, go to
Carry on.
Yeah, because, there's something that men possess, right, which is a strength when it is kept in check, but it's very, very dangerous when it's left unchecked. Much like an ocean, right? The ocean is an amazing place. It's a beautiful place. A tsunami is destructive. A wave can be served, right?
Yeah.
Men's aggression, which is kind of like hardwired, right? It's there because it's supposed to be used to protect. You know what I'm saying? To fight for when it's time to fight for, right? But when it's left unchecked, it translates into violence. It translates into dominance. And the place where it starts, where you first have to check a male behavior is in the home.
But here's the thing, right? As much as I said it's coincidental, it's also contradictory, right? Because if the homes are fatherless homes, it means it is the women who are raising you. It is the women who are showing you love. How then do you then, it doesn't make sense in my mind, how you turn on the gender that was
I think it
there.
100% makes sense, especially speaking from a male perspective. That if I did not have, so I'll give you an example. So my parents are still together, 42 years married in this coming Jan. And there's one thing that we knew we could take chances with my mom. When you're asking for something and she says no, then you kind of, you push the envelope a little bit. She's softer.
Yeah.
She's softer.
Yeah.
As she should be.
Yeah, she's nurturing.
She's nurturing. Yes. When your dad speaks, he speaks once.
And that's it.
The law has been laid down. That should address the question.
But then that's in a home where there's a father and a mother.
100%. But with the absence of a father.
Okay, so can I just say,
Go.
We're living in a society where we are all privy to information. There's information everywhere. You can learn about anything. The sports habits. That Lionel Messi lifts a ball 1 centimeter off the ground. If you can know that information and learn and immerse yourself and develop the habit of being a football fan or learning how to program a computer, why can you not take accountability for your responsibility and role in society to not be inflicting things on other people and calling each other to order. So if you have those rules, if you grew up in a home with a father and a mother, then call your male friends to order, because
100%.
you can inflict pain on them. As a woman, I can, because I'm pretty sure Thando and I could
Yeah, we
inflict
can
pain on
inflict some
women.
pain. I mean, it might come from like very low because you and I are very short.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe that's where we need to be aiming.
Exactly. Do you guys call each other out, Bongani?
In my circle, yes. It depends which circle you're in, and I think through your question is that you could take your own experience and use it to the positive or to the negative. It's a total choice. At the end of the day, I grew up in a home where there was no father figure. I was surrounded by women, so I know a feminine energy. But I can't come back and abuse a woman and say, I didn't see my father, he was not there to tell me what is discipline and order. I've watched women being abused.
But also, guys, can I just say, like, whether
And
it's
I
a
said
woman
I
or a
don't
man,
want
right?
to see
Like,
this.
we know you're not supposed to beat humans. Like,
100%.
period. You're not supposed to kill humans.
Exactly. That's what you guys opened up with.
No. Remember that it's not a question of justifying it. We're saying that if a person grew up in a particular context, whatever that they've learned in that area, discipline, order, respect is something that you teach. And we're saying that men in their nature, in this context, men are not just only abusive and violent to women.
They're
Men
abusive
are
in general.
Abusive and violent in general. And we might miss the bus if we want to only, and when I say reduce it, I'm not saying that it's insignificant that we've got 6,000 women dying every year. I'm saying that the reason Bongani is going to say this is not my conversation, because Bongani is not abusive to Thando, and some of the conversations when they happen, we say, no, join us in this struggle. No, I'm part of the struggle. Because of as much as you fear running at 5 o'clock in the morning,
I fear men
wait
as well.
for the light so that I can go and run in the streets.
At least you can fight back, Bongani.
How do I fight back?
How are you gonna fight a gun?
Thando,
But you've
there's
got
a
knife.
Thando,
No,
let me
guys.
take you when I was 15. I was 15 at a corner that you're self-describing now in a township. A peer of mine lost his life. They were playing dice. Amongst peers, he did something and the other one was angry. He actually stood up, took a nail clipper and stabbed him, and he died. I was saying to Thando, I was like, in a club, if I step on
a
him,
shoe. Oh man.
Guys, I think we can all agree we have a violent issue in South Africa.
A male violence issue.
Yes, but here's the thing though. If I am a man who is violent, who am I? Who's my easier target?
Thando, what we're saying,
Right?
we're not disagreeing with all those things, but we're saying that men must not be brought into this conversation as bystanders. We're part and parcel of
Got
this.
you.
We've got
That's a
to
great point.
own up and say, it's not a question of don't beat or look at Thando's thighs. Or say, Thando, dress up. Because of Bongane's lust is going to, violate you. No, we should be saying that human beings, whether male or woman, they don't need to be treated like this.
Correct.
It's a teaching that we've got to do. And I think as society, we need to understand that we've got to invest in a behavioral change of men in general.
Correct.
So that they
So how do
know
we
and
do that?
understand.
How do we do that?
I said this off air to Bongani. I said, sloganeering, protesting, it's great. But how
Objectivism.
you're right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But how you tip the scale, right, is, we talk about critical mass, where the same way that we added voices and changed profile pictures to purple and the critical mass shifted so that we got a statement out of
Except-
the president.
yes,
right?
okay.
Right? It starts with every man in their immediate circle, in their immediate sphere of influence, addressing any toxic male behavior that springs up. It is your responsibility as a man in your circles to address the men that are out of line.
100%.
I think. You mentioned the purple profile pictures. It was a woman, right? Which is also like terrifying and so like bizarre to me. Speaking again to what you were talking to Bongani, that you are part of it, right? You're not bystanders. And with something as futile as changing a profile pic, it was a woman who were doing it.
Yeah.
It was a woman.
There
who
were a
doing
million
it.
women that
Because
signed.
we don't feel part and parcel of this. We as much as I'm not the perpetrator, I know the perpetrator, but I'm like, even myself, I'm afraid. It's like Maskula. I don't know if this would be a good example. Maskula, you'd be sharing a bed, 6 of you. One person used to pee.
Oh, I know too well.
And
Was it
all
you?
of you would be given a hiding.
Yeah.
You know? And later on they say, but why didn't you speak? I tried to speak the other time. But you said, actually, I don't know who amongst you did it. Actually, all of you must be punished for this.
Sure.
So some of us are standing here and like, if
You
do I
feel
even have a
complicit.
right- Do I even have a right to raise my hand and say, I want to say this? Because of you, Thando, are going to say, Bongani, you're speaking from privilege.
You know, a lot of guys are scared to speak on issues because and it would do us a lot of good that when there's a crisis on the table, I used the analogy of a company with Bongani. I said, you don't isolate one department. You look at the entire ecosystem of the company and say, guys, we need to put everything on the table to get to the bottom of why our customers complaining about our product or our service, right? Nothing is off the table up until we've solved the issue.
As
right?
a white person who has had to be part of a resocialization in a country that had an entire oppression on people of color, the way that I approached it was to take it up in my family spaces, in my relationship spaces, in everybody. I would not allow racism in my space. And then I
100%
worked in entertainment, and those were things that I managed to impart on the people around me.
Yeah.
So be the change you want to be in the world.
100%.
Call your people to order, because it starts with you.
Definitely.
But I'm saying in this discourse, it would do us all good to listen to every voice.
I
and
would
every
other.
perspective.
Can we start with a voice? I feel like men are quiet. We not. Your silence is loud. We're not hearing you. So you can't say we must listen to every voice when you're not saying anything. And I think it's why we have, and I'm so sorry, but we are out of time and they're going to kill me. But we need to have more conversations like this, where you guys also feel like it is safe for you to be a
Don't we
part
only
of the
do this?
conversation.
What did the company do on Wednesday? Just your company here. It's International Men's Day.
Yeah.
How did we?
Well, we've run a whole campaign for the entire month. So
well done.
that's this
I can vouch for
men's
Thando.
conference.
You
Thank you.
champion men.
So that's what it's supposed to be, Thando.
I think for me, it's
Create
not
that
even
space.
just about
Consistent, not
championing
just
men. It's understanding that we live in society together. We are
need each other.
cohabiting this earth, and we need to work together. And again, I don't want it to be a competition of, are you supporting women? Are you supporting men? I think we need to support one another. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. That's Dumi Mutlano and Bongani Luvalo.
947 Drive with Thando.
This is 947.